Hi students, welcome to the class on aircraft air conditioning. I am Rijo Jacob Thomas. I am a faculty in Department of Mechanical Engineering at TKM College of Engineering. Alright, let's see what we have in this particular class. Now, when we talk about aircraft air conditioning system, the typical name or the technical name that we call that is called an ECS or the environmental control system. Okay, so before we go into the details of the environmental control system, because we want to touch different parts of an aircraft, so these are the main parts. I'll just mention this is called the fuselage, the upper fuselage, then the lower fuselage, then we have the wing, the trailing edge of the wing, the leading edge, the ailerons, then the wing tip, then we have the engine which is hanging here, then we have the spoilers, then we have the vertical stabilizer here, the rudder here, the horizontal stabilizers, the elevators, all these. Okay. Now, unlike to a normal air conditioning system, there are different other functions this particular air conditioning system has to do in aircraft. Okay, like it is not only the temperature controller, which is a general function, but it has to do the pressurization inside the cabin. It need to control the oxygen. It need to control the humidity. Also, it is need to take care of the heat load. All right. Now, a typical system will have two units, one left and one right, taking bleed air from the two engines. So you can see there is a line coming from here, and there is the second one from which takes the bleed air from here. Okay, so then we have the mixing chamber and controllers, and whatever air which is been used is being pushed out through the air bleed supply. All right, and along with this it has got other systems like environmental protection system, which helps the flight from ice formation, heavy rains, very low temperature and very high temperatures and such things. Okay, so it's altogether a fully functional one, right? Now, if you see the distribution of air inside the aircraft, the air conditioned air, it comes through the duct here. So from the duct, it has been pushed into the cabin space, the seating area. From there, it is being circulated like this. So it gets circulated and it is been sucked out. So the exhaust suction comes here, and a part of it has been bled into the cargo area below this, and there is some recirculation fans and all which make the circulation better. All right, so there's an air flow distribution inside the aircraft. Now, if you see what are the cooling locations, we have the passenger area. We can see the ducts which is being inside that. So cooling the passenger area. Then we have the cockpit where we have the controls, the panels, the other electronic equipment. So we have a distribution system here, and also we have the backside cargo compartment as well as the front side cargo compartment. Okay, so you can see the two units, the left ECS pack, the right ECS pack also here. All right. Now, if you see the different types of air which has been taken care by this distribution system, there are 3-4 types of air which has been taken care. This is the main engine. The red color one is the main hot engine. So you can see that some air is being bled from there. So it is bled through the jet engine. Then it comes here. There is a cooling system with the ram air here. So that will the hot air will be cooled such that the color changes. So that comes here, and it goes into the air conditioning unit. So of the air conditioning unit, you can see the blue color. So blue color means it is really cold. This really cold air is actually mixed with some part of the recirculated air which is coming from the air conditioning system from the cabin itself. So the mixed air is being supplied, and when it is just before supply, some part of the ram air also is being used. You can see there is some mixing. So this is almost mixed 50-50 here. So it is mixed and pushed in the room. Okay, so that is been there. Now whatever is been left, it's been sucked out, and it is been thrown out to discharge, and some part is been recirculated. So this is the recirculation part. So this is what the airflow distribution inside the aircraft means. Now the same thing, so there's a mixing folder. So this is the hot air coming from the engine to the right and left air conditioning units, and a part of it is going to the other part for cooling and other things. So the after the pack it is really cold, so it is the cool air which is coming out. So this is actually get mixed in this chamber, so it is being mixed. Now the mixed one is sent in different parts, as I said, the compartments, the passenger compartment, the cockpit and things like that, also to the cargo component. Okay, so as I said, some of the ram air is mixed so that the temperatures are adjusted, and the requirement, the set temperatures are controlled in that way. All right, so this is the distribution system. This is the same manifold you can see here. So this is the air conditioning unit that we can see. So the air being bled from the main engine, it comes to the air conditioning unit, it is cooled, and the green color one is the mixed conditioned air which is sent into the cabin. So we can see the cabin here, passenger cabin 80%, 20% is for the control cabin. So this is basically the same thing. You can see the controls here. All right, this is for the Boeing 737 flight. So this is actual diagram. Really need not be worried about what it is and all, it's a very complicated diagram when you see, but we can make it a simple one and make you understand what the process is. All right, now if you see this, it is based on our thermodynamic process called the Bootstrap cycle. So I will explain the TS diagram, then we see the process. So the engine air, the outside air, from the engine, from the compressor main engine, comes to a point 1. Okay, so 1 to 2 there is a heat exchanger, and the ram air is used to cool that, so it gets cooled, and you can see the temperature drops, and from point 2 it is again compressed. There's a compressor in the air conditioning ECS unit, so that will compress to a point 3, and from 3 to 4 again cooling happens with the ram air, so the temperature almost comes to the same as point 2. So 0.4 it is being, so there are 2 heat exchangers, 1 compressor here, and from 4 it has been expanded in a turbine, 4 to 5, that's where the cooling is being produced. Okay, this turbine, this is the coldest temperature that we have, and 5 to 6 there is mixing and all. So from 6 it has been sent to the cabin. Okay, once it is used in the cabin, it has been thrown out, so it's not really a cycle, it's not a closed one, so it is again open cycle. It has been again sucked in and compressed and cooled, compressed, cooled and expanded, right? And this compressor and this turbine are connected to a single shaft. Okay, so now this is the schematic, it is explained. So you can see that there's a bleed air from the engine. Okay, so it comes here from first heat exchanger, it is being cooled, as I said, then the cooled one is compressed, so again the temperature increases, the compressed air is sent into the second heat exchanger 2. Again it is being cooled by ram air. You can see the ram air coming here. So these 2 heat exchangers are cooled by the ram air, and the ram air goes out. Okay, so it is being taken and heat exchanger cools, then compressed. Then the compressed air is again cooled in the exchanger 2. After heat exchanger 2, it is sent back to the turbine. It is turbine for the expansion. This is now really cold, and it is some part of the recirculated bleed air is mixed with this cooled air and is sent into the cabin. Okay, this is sent into the cabin. Okay, exactly the same process, this is called the Bootstrap cycle. Bootstrap cycle also we have reduced ambient and regenerative types and all, but remember this is a basic one you can which is generally seen in a flight, right? Now the heat exchanger I was talking about, this is the schematic of the heat exchanger. A real picture is here. You can see the hand of a person, and you can have an idea about the size of it. So it is 7.7 into 0.5 into 0.3 meter cube, and is only 10 kg weight. So the weight is something which is very important in a flight that need to be controlled. All right. Now these units are kept at the lower part of the fuselage. So you can see 2 cabins, one for the left pack and the right pack. The inside one you can see, this is the bay where you can see the ECS bay. and the controls are there. You can see the air conditioning pack control panel inside the cockpit. Okay, so this is how it looks. Now there are a few terms which we should know then when we compare or different types of air conditioning system. For example, you wanted to choose between two types. How do we choose? Okay, which is the type? What happens if the speed of the flight changes? Okay, now it will affect this because it has been taking air from outside. So the pressure and everything changes, the flow rate changes, how it affects. Okay, so that is being dealt by a term which is called DART. DART is called the dry air rated temperature. So that is the temperature of the air in exiting the turbine. Turbine is the one which produces the cooling. So the one which exits the turbine is called the DART temperature, and it is considered in one condition, that the air is totally dry without any moisture in it. If there is moisture, what happens is a part of the cooling produced will be used to condense this water. Okay, so that part is been assumed, that it is an assumption that it is dry and everything which is available for cooling. Okay, that's called DART. Now this DART is being useful in selecting and comparing different refrigerator systems that can be used. Okay, now DART actually increases with Mach number, with speed. Actually it increases almost all systems except the reduced ambient system, where there is a there is a separate compressor to compress it, so the speed doesn't really affect the air conditioning system. Okay, now simple systems is sufficient for if the flight is going in low Mach numbers. High Mach numbers, we need the systems like I explained, the bootstrap, or there is a regenerative bootstrap where you have a fan and all along with it. Now if it is very high Mach and all, like supersonic flights and all, we need this reduced ambient system where the flow rate requirement is met by the separate compressor that we have. All right, so this is all about the air conditioning system in an aircraft. Hope you've got an idea about how it is, what is the classification, an overview about the environmental control system, the functions it has been used, how the air, the distribution changes, what are the different types of air, what is the thermodynamic process, the TS diagram, the schematic of the process, the equipment used and all. You need an extra bit of reading on these things. This is given an overview of it. Now the diagrams that I have shown in the PPT, like the one which I am currently showing, this requires a little bit of patience to identify, because everything is marked here. Okay, so if in the light of the TS diagram and the small symbol schematic diagram I have shown, you can figure out what are these components, and there will be some control lines also marked here, because it will be it's a professional drawing which is we have seen. So there will be control lines, but the flow lines you can differentiate as the big ones. Okay, so I hope that you are able to see this, and you will be able to read more about it. Thank you so much.